See, our Swamiji used to say that even in Vedas, formula of water is there. And as I said, our culture is to not separate science separately, spirituality, psychology, they made it holistic. So that we understand the role of all these various fields is towards only one thing, the elevation and the complete actualization of every human being.
Ramuji, how does Hindu religion relate to science?
Everything was integrated into one whole. It was holistic living, which is very difficult for us to even grasp. You see, science, spirituality, integrated. And that is how ancient our religions. Each time I Google or Wikipedia some of these scientific discoveries, for example, things like speed of light, etc., they never even refer to 1,000-year-old Indian text, which is certified as 1,000-year-old, where they already casually told the speed of light. They say speed of light was initially Greek, Roman, everything. Where is India there? That's why we need our youngsters to go and sit in those places where they can at least be open and include the greatness where it is due also. You see, gravitation la nariya irukku. You think gravitation was discovered only 350 years ago? Maybe in the West. Or maybe it is very clear in our many Shastras are there. Bhaskaracharya, Linda Aramichi, all these great Mahatmas are very clearly put. It's there in our Vedas also about gravity. That a bigger object attracts a smaller object. It also even tells approximately how much is the force, etc. Everything is there. The law of attraction, everything. But then, unfortunately, India was not in power to actually boldly stress. We found all this. Other rishis' works, they have so much there. One example is, our Swamiji used to say, even the formula for water is there in our Vedas. As I told you, our civilization, when I say our, Hindu civilization, now we are American Hindus, right? So our civilization, Hindu culture, you can very well adapt it to American countries' values. Because Hinduism is very universal. You can be an American and a Hindu without any conflict. Why? Because the universal values of Hinduism augurs well with the universal values of the founding fathers of America. Even though it originated from a holy land called India, let it be so. We can be practicing Hindus owing total allegiance to this lovely country. There need not be any conflict at all. So here, when we see, our Swamiji used to say that even in Vedas, formula of water is there. And as I said, our culture is to not separate science separately, spirituality, psychology, they made it holistic. So that we understand the role of all these various fields is towards only one thing, the elevation and the complete actualization of every human being. That was the whole idea of society. Even society was formed not for the sake of society. It was formed for the sake of each and every individual, because individual is supreme. And for the elevation of individual, there were rules which supports my own spiritual development. You see, that's how it was designed. So here, our Veda Mata, she talks about water. And I believe it's a Rigveda mantram. In that, when water was talked about, water is the source of life, right? How much we should be thankful for water. Suppose all the water resources dried up, can life exist? So life is water, na? Water is life, na? Whether it is Tamil or Sanskritam, they say Maamalai Potrudum, Maamalai Potrudum. Or this water is the source of life. So we worship water. We worship rivers. Why? It's source of life for us. Source of food for us. And so, when there is this wonderful eulogizing of water in Vedas, there is a small portion of this mantra which says that water which is ekam pranam anyadve. One portion of oxygen, ekam means one. Oxygen, ekam pranam. Pranam, na, the one which is life-supporting prana, which is oxygen. And anyadve, there is another element in two parts, dve na two. So, two parts of one element and one part of oxygen together makes water, H2O. This is as ancient as life itself. This Vedas is there. Why? Beauty of our Vedas. And science is not the actual purpose of Vedas. Vedas are there for a higher purpose. But science is also there, is what I'm trying to tell you. You see, that's the beauty of our Sanatana Dharma. And I will give you another wonderful mantra where it talks about 3 isotopes of hydrogen. Believe it or not. Look, mantra. And the story as well. Like we have the dry formula, H2 plus O equals H2. And the stories. We are so drilled into seeing nature in form of very dry letters and numbers. But our culture, Hindu culture, sees everything as poetry and aesthetics. So even mathematics was taught as poetry. Leelavati, there is a lovely book where even sums are all poems. Sums are all poems. Mathematical series long poems. Like a father trying to get his daughter, his daughter's name was Leelavati. So he has written this whole book in form of poems. And simultaneous equations from poems. So that's the beauty of our culture. So everything is poetry, aesthetics, divinity. So that chemistry was also poetry. Ekam pranam anyadve. Poetry. And that's the beauty of water. We praise that water which is 1 part oxygen, 2 parts some other element. Like that, I told you, isotopes. This is a mantra generally people do for spiritual purposes during 4 months of isolation. All these great sadhus, they do self-imposed isolation for 4 months. You know why? Because typically epidemics happen during rainy season. And these sadhus are not supposed to take medicines to even kill microbes. So they decided prevention is the best cure. Adukku Chaturmasyamnu peru. So they isolate themselves in one village. That's it. They won't go anywhere else. And they also use that isolation time of 4 months to do a lot of penance, lot of japam, dhyanam, etc. So that the next 8 months they have the power to support people when they have prayers. So Chaturmasya, they do lot of penance. Nariya Hare Rama, Nariya Dhyanam, Pranayam, depending on the path. And when they go as sadhus in the next 8 months, whatever they get as a handful of rice, somebody donates, Bhiksha, they can't be indebted, they give back that penance. During the Chaturmasya Vratam, this mantra comes. And it's a lovely story. It seems all the devas wanted to collect their energy. And they want to store it somewhere. So they gave all their energy to Agni. Agni thought, I don't want to hold all the energy. He gave it to water, it seems. Water deity. The water immediately gave birth to 3 children. Ekam, Dutiyam, Tritiyam. And deuterium and tritium are used for heavy water to manage the greatest energy called nuclear energy. The water gave birth to 3. Hydrolysis, when you do, hydrogen and oxygen is there. So it has these 3 children. Ekam, Dutiyam, Tritiyam. Tritium la solrome, tritium. And deuterium. The dew. 3. Samskrita. You see, that is how ancient it is. So I'm just trying to tell you that just because I'm a Hindu, I'm not trying to make things up. Satya enna patradhu sollu. We come from one of the best civilizations. What to do? Why should I be apologetic? But that's what it is. And that's why I'm saying it is in no contrast to what our way of life, our nationality. It's a universal. That is the beauty.
I am absolutely thrilled to now know that many modern science and math concepts like the speed of light, gravity, the composition of water, etc. are mentioned in the Vedas. These concepts are presented aesthetically as beautiful poems and stories, both in the Vedas as well as in books by ancient Indian mathematicians like Bhaskaracharya.
I am proud that ours is a universal religion whose spiritual practices are rooted in strong scientific principles also. It also blends well with values across nationalities. So, I can be a good American Hindu or say an Australian Hindu or any other country with no conflicts at all.
Thank you.